Financial Modeling, Topic 8, Financial Planning Model, Section 2, Understanding Consumption Smoothing as a Personal Financial Objective. So in the model we're going to show in sections 3, 4, and 5, the basic assumption is the model is trying to smooth non-housing consumption over the lifetime of the investor or client. So in other words, if you're retiring at the age of 65, in the age of 64 you made $100,000 a year in salary income. How much of that income do you need to replace to smooth non-housing consumption? More precisely, how much of that income do you have to replace with your private retirement savings, meaning not Social Security or other pensions? How much of that do you need to replace with your private portfolio? So, in a world in which there are no taxes, no Social Security or pensions, no downsizing and retirement of your house, and no changes of expense, like say healthcare expenses in retirement, in a world like that, I'd have to replace 100% of my salary to smooth my consumption from pre-retirement to post-retirement. However, due to several of these factors, you don't need to actually replace 100% of your income to smooth your consumption. So let's look one of these points at a time. What if Social Security replaces 32% of your income? In other words, you're making $100,000 before retirement. In retirement, you make $32,000 or receive $32,000 in Social Security benefits. Well, in that case, if I took 100% minus my 32% of Social Security replacement, in that case, I'd only have to replace 68% of my retirement income to smooth my consumption. So, if I start off with 100% and I subtract off any Social Security as a percentage of my last year's income, I only have to replace that amount to smooth my non-housing consumption. Another one is savings. It's not listed here because savings is in the model somewhere else. However, if I've been saving, say 15% of my income every year, I've been living on 85% of my income all my life. Therefore, to smooth consumption, I only need to replace 85% of my income. So if I start off with my 100%, I subtract my Social Security annuity, 32% in this example. Plus, you can add any pension that also adds to your Social Security. So if I subtract these two numbers, that would be the amount I'd need to smooth my consumption. Next one, what if in retirement I downsize? Now, my assumption here is I spend 25% of my income on housing before and after taxation, but what if I were to reduce that to say 20%? In retirement, I spend 5% less in housing. Well, then I would subtract 5% here to smooth my non-housing consumption. And what if in retirement I pay 5% less taxes as a percentage of my income? Now, this is going to probably be true for several reasons. One is your income is going to go down, and with a progressive tax system, you're going to pay less taxes. Two, even if your income is the same, your income may shift from payroll to non-payroll, and you're going to save in payroll taxes. So for several reasons, you're going to probably pay less taxes. The last reason is some of your income is going to be tax-advantaged savings through 401ks and IRAs, in which maybe you paid the tax earlier. So for all those reasons, you're probably going to pay less in taxes as a percentage of income in retirement. So what if your tax savings is 5%? Well, I don't need to replace that with my retirement portfolio. And then the last one could be a plus or minus. What if in retirement medical expenses go up by say 5%? Well, I need to add that to the number and not subtract it. However, what if in retirement I'm able to reduce my expenses? I can reduce my commuting expenses. I no longer have to pay gasoline to get to work every day. I could actually subtract that. So I'm going to make it a conservative assumption that in retirement, maybe in the early years, you might travel more, and in your later years, you're probably going to spend more money on medical expenses. So bottom line, with these examples here, and by the way, I have a function that guesstimates the Social Security benefit based on your income. But based on these assumptions, if you simply save enough money in your retirement portfolio To replace 63% of your pre-retirement income, you will smooth your non-housing consumption. And that is going to be a big part of this model. The model is going to try to smooth non-housing consumption, and the objective of the model is to forecast how many years you can do that for. So in this section, we understood the consumption smoothing model and how consumption smoothing is used in personal finance. In the next 3 topics, we'll actually talk about the forecast model.